Today is the 22nd of March, Wednesday 2023. This is Today Africa. I am Amik Hassan. Today we have some news and we are heading towards the East Africa today, which is Kenya.
For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks. And secondly, we, through the central bank, we are having conversations to reinstate the interbank exchange market that has since not worked. And I am happy that the players in that sector, including our banks, are coming forward and they are participating, and they are working with the central bank so that we can again take charge of our market and that it is not allowed to be distorted.
Today, the president of Kenya, on a press conference, telling his nation that whoever is having the dollar should begin to sell it out or leave it, because it is no longer valid in Kenya, which I agree with him, because it is very important for Africa today to de-dollarize in a very decent way, because we can do that in Africa in a very decent way, to de-dollarize. As the president of Kenya today, which it's a new beginning, because I have my own take on that actually, because it is something I've been thinking about for a while, because it is very important for Africa. But this is my take on that, which is very important, because Africa could de-dollarize in a way that it could be hard for you to see the dollar across Africa. You can only find the dollar in the banks, So what if Africa, the 55 states that we have in Africa, what if we adopt a financial system that the whole of Africa could use 4 or 5 currency rather than using 55 currency all across Africa? Because when we use this 55 currency, that is why when you travel overseas, you don't see in the forex exchange market, you don't see most of these countries in Africa this currency, because it is not valid. So that is one most important thing we have to take note about. But if Africa could adopt a system of 4 or 5 currency, then if you travel overseas or you travel abroad, trust me, any forex exchange you pass across the world or within the Western continent, you will find these currencies in the forex exchange market, because it is becoming important. That is to say, the whole of East Africa could use one currency, and West Africa could use one currency, North Africa one currency, and the whole of South Africa use one currency, maybe if possible, and Central Republic one currency, which is 5 currency across the whole of Africa. So if we adopt such a system in Africa, such a financial system in Africa, you give it a year, I don't think you will find the dollar across the local market. Because the reason why many people we use dollars in Africa, it is because we use 55 different currencies across Africa. So it is hard for us not to carry dollars around, because if I'm moving, for example, from Kenya to a neighboring country like Uganda or Tanzania, I have to carry dollars, to change the dollars to get to the local currency in Tanzania or Uganda. So that is one problem we have. But if the whole of East Africa, it's using one currency. Then if I'm moving from Kenya, going to Uganda, going to Tanzania, I don't need a dollar because we all use the same currency. So if we adopt such a financial system, I don't think we actually need a dollar, because in a year time, you could check the market, you could not find the dollars. And the same thing goes to West Africa, South Africa, or if possible, the Central Republic, which with the same currency. Because that could help Africa at the same time, and then our currency begin to gain respect on the global stage, because we have very many countries across Africa that we don't even know the currency they use. Because as an African, because I knew almost all the countries across Africa, but I don't know which currency they use. So that is one problem. But to identify 5 currencies across Africa, it is very easy, And then if we get a system like that, then Africa already de-dollarized. We don't need a dollar in Africa, And then we could have just like one central bank. When we have one central bank that controls these rates, because by the time Africa starts to use these 5 currency, it's just my thought, And then you will see the other continent, will try to regulate this money. These are currencies, because to degrade them like that, because that will happen, So we have to have the market as well in Africa, the forex exchange market in Africa, to regulate our currency, because that will help us, And then we don't need to have our foreign reserve overseas, because that is one of the greatest problem we have today, because having your foreign reserve in America or Europe, you see what is happening all around. Look at what happened to Russia. The foreign reserve was like frozen. The same thing to Venezuela, the same thing to Afghanistan, because these people are not reliable. So the moment you do not agree to their terms or dictatorship, that is the only way to do. They freeze your foreign reserve. So it is a bad idea for many countries across the world to have foreign reserve overseas, especially in the United States or within the EU. So that is not a good idea. So, but if Africa, we have one central bank that is responsible to save all the foreign reserve in Africa. So whatever trade Africa is doing across the West, whatever company is doing trade across the West, or European continent or America, this bank could take care of this particular transaction, because we in Africa having our foreign reserve overseas, it's a bad idea, So take an example, it's happening all around, And then these banks that are collapsing across the collective West, this is my idea as well. It is not by accident. I think they are up to something. For you to see the banks in America having problems, I don't think it is an accident. That is my take. Let me know in the comment section below. But I think they are trying to do something different, which is maybe to use because they want to stop using this physical cash, So everything could be maybe electronics. So that is my take on that. But I don't think these banks that are collapsing, it is by accident. There is something ahead, So it could be a very important time right now for Africa to adopt our own financial system that could actually help Africa, because when we have these 5 currencies across Africa and then we integrate them together, that is a huge step for Africa, So that is my take on this particular topic, because it is a great move that the president of Kenya started this particular move, that we should start doing trade in the local currency in Kenya. Because if you look today across Africa, most of the currencies across Africa is not accepted in the other continent, you know. But if we have these 5 currencies across Africa, trust me, this money will be respected and will be seen as something that Africa is actually moving towards something. But it's up to the leaders, it's up to Africa, it's up to the AU to look at things like this, because very soon, very, very soon, they will start to control. If countries do not take action today, very soon they will start to tell you when to use your money and how to use your money. And because they will tell you when and how to use your money, it is because they have control over it. So it's high time we begin to draw back our foreign reserve in Africa and have one central bank to do all foreign transaction across, because this will be very good for Africa, you know, especially the 5 currencies that will help integrate trade together, and then people travel across Africa. They don't need a dollar, because I am going to Nigeria from Sierra Leone, we are using the same money, so I don't need that to accept the dollar. So you can only find the dollars in banks. So this is my take on this. That's why it is just a short video, because when I saw the president of Kenya attacking such a system, it is good. But let me know your thought about this particular financial system. I am not an expert, I'm not an accountant, but I just thought it fit that Africa should have its own financial system with our 5 or 4 currency and integrate them together, wherein we could travel all across Africa with these currencies. We don't need dollars. It will help Africa great, great, great. So make Africa great again, leaders. Still in Kenya, guys, let me know what is going on, because there's a huge contest right now between Raila Odinga, the main opposition leader, and then the president, Ruto. So let me know what is going on, guys. Let me get everything in the comment section below, because that will be the next video coming up soon. So I stop here and then see you on the next video.